like, oh, no, we cannot listen to R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a pedophile. And now here's the thing, and just hear me out for 1 second. Technically speaking, R. Kelly is not a pedophile. Just give me 1 second. I promise this goes away. Just hear me out. The term pedophile refers to people who are attracted to those that are prepubescent. Then there's something called a hebophile. That's people who are attracted to those in the early stages of puberty, like 11, 12, 13, 14. And then there's something called an ephebophile. That's people who are attracted to those in the later stages of puberty, like 15, 16, 17, 18. But I think the reason we don't make those distinctions is because it's very hard to explain the difference without sounding like a pedophile.
Probably dead, and I'm not allowed to talk about it on most platforms, but I'm going to try to talk about it on this platform because this isn't fucking TikTok. Am I deep enough? Was I deep enough in? Was I allowed to curse this soon?
I think you're fine.
I'm being silenced everywhere because I want to tap dance, and nobody wants me to tap dance. People are like, oh, you shouldn't talk bad about Mitch McConnell. He can't hear me. He's brain dead. He's brain dead like the emperor on the golden throne, surrounded by a series of custodies, which are congressional security guards, while he's being hidden from us by his wife, who has fled the country like a duchess from a medieval rebellion, Phil. These are the words I tried to say on TikTok. They said that was against the community guidelines. Who's posted against me? His daughter? His daughter's not online anymore. Mitch McConnell's daughter has disappeared from the internet, the same way Mitch McConnell's spine disappeared after he marched with Martin Luther King. Did people know that? Did you know that Mitch McConnell's real first name is Addison? Did you know that, Phil? No. And people aren't allowed to know that because Larry Ellison bought TikTok because Joe Biden's an old stupid man who sold the goddamn company, and now Donald Trump's allowed to post there all day with Spencer Pratt. But if I talk over there, Phil, people go, oh, that's against community guidelines. You're being too mad to the corpse of the man that stole the Supreme Court, and now women bleed out in parking lots in hospitals across the South. Fuck Mitch McConnell. Fuck his whole family. Fuck these motherfuckers. I am so tired. I'm constantly, Phil. It's constant. The show's called Crashing Out.
All the white supremacists, the KKK, the Patriot Front, right? They say the master race.
Oh.
I'm an English major.
And they say you're dirty Indian.
Yeah. So I say I'm a dirty Indian, even though I'm Pakistani American. But okay, we're all dirty. We're all filthy, right? I'm an English major. Maybe you might be the master race. My one question, do you wash your ass?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
No.
If you don't wash your ass.
But we're dirty.
No, but you cannot be the master race. You have to come back to me with a clean ass, and then I'll entertain your argument.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I mean, there's a pure logic to it. I don't get it. I mean, I saw it explained on Twitter once.
Oh, shit.
This guy on Twitter just explained it. He just said, he's a white guy. He's like, how do we not use bidets? He's like, if you had shit on your arm, would you wipe it off with a piece of paper?
Repeatedly.
Would you just wipe it with a tissue paper? If you had some shit on your arm, would you wipe it with a piece of toilet paper?
Until it bleeds.
You would wash. Okay, that's...
See, this right here is why I'm really glad that Mehdi Hassan now has Zateo. He's doing his own thing because, man, you know, he wasn't going to be able to talk like this on... What was he on before? CNN, MSNBC, Ms. Now? I don't know. But, you know, I'm you know, he's out here doing it, man. He's out here doing the Lord's work. You know, and I don't even believe in the Lord, but he's doing it. Welcome, everybody. This is a special edition or something of this, where we do some stuff. We're gonna hang out. We're just gonna hang out, man. No commitments, no promises, no disappointment. Because if there's no promises or commitment, then you can't be disappointed, man. But you know, hopefully you'll hang out and we can shoot the shit, hear what you guys are going through, what's going on with you guys in your lives. If you want to share that, you know, because I'm definitely gonna have to, unfortunately, share what's going on with mine. And try to drum up a little bit of doll hairs. With that in mind, I actually have a little thing I made. I meant to show this before the stream, and I forgot that I had made it because I'm terrible with this. Let me upload it real quick. But while I'm doing that, yeah, it's Saturday. As far as I know, I haven't looked at the news in a couple hours, but we still don't really know what's going on with Mitch McConnell. But now it seems like Trump is also well, Trump had accidentally admitted in a tweet or whatever. It's just a tweet. I'm gonna call it a tweet. He admitted that he went to Walter Reed in probably an emergency situation. You don't really go to Walter Reed just like on such a regular basis. He says that he goes every 6 months, but he kind of slipped, and I don't think he realized that they were keeping this from the public. And he admitted that he went just like recently, which would make it the second time in 2 months that he went to Walter Reed for a physical, which means if he went to Walter Reed, it wasn't just for a physical. Okay. It was for to some kind of concern. And then he also, in the same statement, admitted to requesting another cognitive exam that he passed again. He's passed it so many times, he said, because he doesn't understand what he's actually saying whenever he admits that. He doesn't understand that what he's saying is they're testing him to see if he's, like, do we need to fucking put the 25th Amendment on? What do we need to have? What's going on here? And they probably should. I got a clip I got to find here in a minute that I had not seen until just a little while ago. And this guy is gone. It is hard to understand. It's hard to understate, rather, how gone this man is, as far as his mind, as far as his anything coherent. Like, he was never really a coherent human being on any level that regular people understand, because his priorities are all fucked up and always have been. But now it's like a fucking bag of sundowning cats in his brain. It's wild, man. But physically, he's in the shitter. Mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritual, like in every metric of a human being's well-being, this man is at the bottom of the, well, I guess wealth. I guess he's really, really rich. Good for him. He got super duper rich right here at the end of his fucking life. He's not going to last much longer. I promise you that. And this is not a threat or anything. Secret Service, FBI. I'm just calling it like I see it based on the way the man looks. He's not going to be around a whole lot longer, I don't think. Here we go. Yeah. How y'all doing? What we got here? Hey, yo. Out on the streets. Out on the streets, ass to mouth? That's what you're doing? That's weird, man. You didn't need to tell us that. That's weird. I mean, whatever you're into, I'm not judging, but like, all right. I guess do it safely. Out on the streets isn't really the best place to do that, I don't think. I don't know. No, you got to understand, his papa made him rich. Trump has been not rich multiple times in his life. He is rich again now. And this is, I think, probably the richest he's ever been. But prior to this, he's been fucking poor as basically anybody else a couple of times. Of course, except you would have some assets or some kind of, scammy way to pretend he had money. Like, for instance, whenever he got the show The Apprentice, when he started doing that, he was essentially bankrupt in every way. He had nothing. He had not a goddamn thing. And because he basically just leveraged his past celebrity as being, this rich guy in New York is fucking, Donald Trump. His name is used in rap songs, has been for decades, is like being synonymous for super duper rich, because the one thing he's always been good at is presenting himself as a certain thing. Till more recently, he's kind of been failing at it along with his mind. But yeah, he was not, he's been rich and then poor and then rich and then poor and then rich and then poor, and then now he's really, really fucking rich here at the end of it, when he's not going to be able to do anything with it except, I guess, pass it on to the fucking Beavis and Butthead twins. So, by the way, yeah, we are talking about Marvel stuff, because I let me show you this thing. This thing in the background actually is apparently actual art. This is art that was released today by Kevin Feige at some event somewhere or something. Whoop, not me. I'm not art. I mean, I am, but not. Yeah, you get it. There we go. The text is my edition that I made for a thumbnail, but that is a look at these characters in Avengers Doomsday, which would be the first kind of official one. Cool. It definitely backs up this clip that I have. So we watched this clip me and Bob did a couple weeks ago, the leaked one that came out I have a better version of it now. You guys want to check that out, and maybe the stream won't get nuked? I don't know. We'll see. This seems to be a better version of that clip that was going around, that Bob and I theorized is actually they're doing so intentionally. So here is that. Seems like the effects on the Sentinels are not finished here. So this is like a work print clip. White-haired Nightcrawler was something I didn't know. I didn't expect that. I don't know that has he ever had white hair in the comics? I'm not sure. It's pretty interesting. And his white jacket, which is also in that image behind this, so that kind of lends it toward being both of these being legit. There we go. No Wolverine. I believe he's supposed to be in the movie, but it seems like maybe he probably doesn't make it to the end. That's what I'm guessing. Yep. I mean, look, the whole thing about a confidence man, con man means confidence man. I'm sure a lot of you know this, but the confidence is not, the confidence that it refers to in confidence man is it makes you confident in them, that you can trust them, that they are what they say they are. That's what the con actually is. It's, aside from whatever the specific thing that they're trying to accomplish is, the con of the same thing that any con man has in common, no matter what kind of cons they do, is that they have to convince you that they are legit in they're smarter, they're clever, they know how to work the system, whatever it is, and that you're gonna benefit too. That's the main thing. Yeah, I mean, obviously he is going to be older there, because that's clearly what the deal is. But especially since we know he's played by Alan Cumming again, it makes sense. I'm not against him being older. In fact, I'm fine with all of them being older, because it seems like we're going to get a younger X-Men team next time. So yeah, why not have the old X-Men here? Fucking do it. A little bit more excited, a little bit. It could be a terrible movie. I saw John Campea, doing some bet hedging in a recent video or whatever, where he said that he'd heard from one insider that they haven't been able to find the movie in the edit, which I thought was kind of weird, because that's exactly what was said about Supergirl, and it's just like, that sounds like somebody's bullshitting based on the recent things that were said about another movie. Maybe that's just me. But then he said that he talked to another person that said, I don't know what they're talking about. That's not what I know. That it's not, so he's hedging his bets. I do think that if this is a bad movie, like if it's not one that does, if it just doesn't gel with the public, that's going to be pretty much it for the Marvel Cinematic Universe as like a cultural anything. Like, it's already on, it's hanging by its fingertips on the ledge right now, I think. And I think it still has plenty of potential to crawl back up. But if they blow this one, man, I don't think there's any come back from that. What do you guys think? I think that if a bunch of people go see this opening weekend and everybody's just like, well, that was really kind of disappointing. Not even that it sucks, just that it's kind of like, oh man, I expected more out of this, If that's kind of a lot of a consensus from a lot of people that see it, then that's the nails in the coffin. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that's not what happens, but you got to be realistic here, and it could be. I don't think it's going to be quite that long. I think it'll probably be closer to 3 hours, but I mean, I did see that Spider-Man Brand New Day is 2.5 hours, which is, kind of cool. Plenty of Spider-Man. We got trailers with Hulk in it now. Guess that was only a matter of time. And it does confirm that Hulk is essentially someone that, not a villain, but obviously somebody that Spider-Man has to deal with in the film. So looking forward to that as well. Okay. Yeah, here's this thing, so I don't have to keep saying it. I'm about to put a link in chat. It is in the description, and then I'll put the QR code on screen, but it's going to be on the screen during the duration of this. Yeah, there's that. What else? Yeah, here. I guess. Oh yeah, there's like 2 more seconds left on this video. That's when the chaos erupts, I suppose. Okay, looking good. What else? What else? What else? So we also have some announcements about what's coming next for the MCU after Doomsday. You know, in a weird way, I kind of wish that they'd wait until Doomsday comes out before they start. You know, oh, here we're gonna. But I mean, the way that they're talking, Feige's talking, is they're aiming for more like how things were. So they've slowed down quite a bit, obviously. And after that was right after they'd sped up quite a bit in releasing stuff. And so it's kind of been a bit of a whirlwind of like, wait, whoa, they're releasing a bunch of stuff and now they're not releasing hardly anything. Crazy. I think they're trying to get to a medium pace again. That seems like that probably something around phase 2 type speed of consistency, frequency. Which, you know, was probably my peak of being hyped about it. You know what I'm saying? What do we got? Oh, check this out. I saw this. You guys know Red Letter Media, I'm sure. Mike Stoklasa. It's easy to forget sometimes that, like, every once in a while I'll see a video of theirs and they talk about he's into like ghost hunting shit and wrestling, apparently, like professional wrestling, which, you know, nothing against it, not my thing, but I definitely wouldn't get caught doing this.
People love doing that walk with this stuff.
Look at Mike doing whatever walk dance thing that is. That's pretty fun. He's a fucking cornball. Like I said, not a lot of strict expectations today on myself. I'm just kind of got a bunch of stuff I've collected over a period of time, and we're gonna check it out. Check out some stuff. Look at some things, some stuffs. Well, I have a few videos that kind of relate to the whole, this.
The Republicans calling everyone communists and socialists now not only shows just how desperate they are, but it's also not going to help them. Allow me to explain. Every single Republican from Donald Trump to Stephen Miller to Mike Johnson has been out there calling Democrats socialists and communists. Now, they're doing this out of a desperate last-ditch effort to try to bring up McCarthyism and try to stoke fears among their base about communism. The thing is, it's not as effective as it used to be. Because not only are his claims about Democrats being communists highly inaccurate, and you can see that on the political spectrum, because not a single Democratic politician is a communist, but studies have consistently shown that young voters, and especially independents, aren't really swayed by those buzz terms. The only people that it really affects are older Republicans. In terms of things just being blanketly labeled as socialist or communist, it doesn't really bother young Democratic voters. And independent voters, who overwhelmingly are the ones who determine the outcome of elections, care more about specific policies like on housing, healthcare, wages, climate, etc. Older Republicans remain to be the group that is likely to have a strong negative reaction to socialism or communism. Now, it used to be a lot of people who were immigrants, like people in Florida who are of Cuban descent, because a lot of them escaped a communist government. But Donald Trump is currently acting like a communist government. And it is not lost on them that Donald Trump and the Republicans are blockading and threatening Cuba. Also, he's lost a shit ton of support among immigrants over the last year and a half from his deportation policies. Him calling everyone a socialist or a communist isn't really doing anything except making his already existing older boomer base upset. Young voters don't really have the association to the word communism and socialism that boomers do, because it's been several decades since the fall of the Soviet Union. Younger voters these days hear the word socialism and they think of people like Bernie Sanders and Zoran Mamdani, who are not only well-liked, but their policies are successful. But also, in Trump, Stephen Miller, and Mike Johnson talking about communists and socialists so much, it's because they realize that they are extremely vulnerable. Mike Johnson recently was talking about how terrified he was about losing the midterms. He went so far as to tell all of the donors in the Republican Party that they will be under investigation too. It wasn't even about impeachment anymore. Stephen Miller said if the Democrats take control of Congress, the Republicans are done. There's a real deep-rooted fear there. They're not saying things like the Democrats might win and give you more affordable wages and better housing. They're saying the Democrats will investigate them and they themselves will go to prison, because that's all they actually care about. They don't give a shit about the American people. They never did. Remember, all throughout the midterms of 2022, the Republicans were complaining about inflation, and they said that they were going to bring down costs. And just like Trump did in 2024, they immediately started just doing investigations into Biden and his family. So the Republicans have no problem for years passing absolutely nothing to help the American people and just doing investigations into Biden, but now they're terrified of investigations coming after them? I thought if you did nothing wrong, you had nothing to worry about. After all of the allegations they made against Biden were found to be false. But they're also...
Yeah, cool. Let's see. Well, I have a image here that I had not seen until just right now. That is apparently a good look at the Savage Hulk in Spider-Man. You guys seen that yet? A still image. There he is. He certainly has a lot of lines on him, and I'm not sure what those are about. Like, yeah, what is that? You know, it looks like scarring or something. Like it looks like he was tied up when he transformed, and he still has, I don't know. Somebody that's not ringing a bell as something from the comics or anything to me. I mean, he looks pretty cool. I'll say that. He looks pretty dumb, looks pretty angry. And that means you know, that fans, that all the people that are in my comments under my I think he did get bigger yet. I think he got dumber and bigger. So all the people that are in the comments of my Hulk video from a couple years ago that are like, you know, shitting on the video before ever even watching it just based on the title of it. There you go, man. There he is. Congratulations. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that it's not just going to completely undermine everything that I've said in that video. But, you know, if it does, I'll be okay. I'm going to be all right. All right. Here's this new look at the reflecting pond or whatever the fuck. There you go. That's what that looks like. Oh yeah, Trump crashed out again this morning, man. I sorry to kind of go back and forth between topics, but you know, we do that anyway. But like, I especially today am not trying to keep it contained. Dude threatened to wipe out a civilization again. He is shitting his pants in a different way than he normally does on every regular basis. He's shitting his pants because he's clearly terrified of the alleged plots to have him assassinated from Iran. No, I don't doubt that Iranians want him dead. In fact, I think I've seen some clips of them chanting, death to Trump or whatever. I have no doubt that that's the case. But Israel being the ones to tell them to be like, hey, there's a real plot. There's a real plot. They're trying to kill you. Press X to doubt, man. Press X to doubt anything basically that Israel's saying. But nonetheless, that caused him to cancel everything for the foreseeable future. It seems like his entire schedule is just wiped clean now. And then he did this. This is clearly a panicked fucking guy. This is insane. I mean, when you break down what he's even saying, he's saying that the military is ready and they've agreed to his plan to, if he's attempted to be assassinated, to decimate and destroy all areas of Iran for a year. Well, I mean, if you do it once, you're done. Like, what is he talking? Like, it just strikes me as like, I'm gonna fucking, I know karate and I know kung fu and I got a big old gun and I got 3 guns. So don't fuck with me, It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy nuts. But Iran, look, they're actually trying to build bridges, I feel like, because they made a helpful video for Trump to understand, basically the consequences of what happens when he fucks around like he does. So this is apparently a legit Iranian-made video. Like that music was from The Dark Knight. Does anybody else get that? Kind of felt like that. All right, so I responded to a post on Reddit, which I almost never do. The post on the Reddit was let's see, insultier than crate. That's literally the only place that I ever consider responding to anything. So it go like this. It goes like this: the 4th, the 5th, the minor fall, the major lift. Those of you who know, you get it. You get it. Okay. Share this screen here. Okay. Oh, that's pretty small. I'm just going to read it to you. This is Saltier Than Crate 5 hours ago. The economy can't be used as a reason for films doing badly, which strikes me immediately as somebody that's got a narrative to push, right? Why would you just start with that? Why would you challenge that as a thing? It's clearly a factor in any thing, basically. The economy affects literally everything. I don't understand how you can pretend like movies are the one thing that it doesn't have an effect on. But in a way, they are kind of right, because it's not just the economy there, and plus there's nuance involved there, right? So they kind of went on this kind of tirade about it, saying, before you read, this is not at all me trying to downplay how bad the global economy is, nor am I saying people aren't struggling. Clearly people are, and they've been struggling for many, many years now since the pandemic. But I just want to say, I think we need to retire saying the economy is bad, and that's why people aren't going to X movie. It is, though, because since Supergirl's been doing what it's been doing, and in light of Minions underperforming, and with Moana likely to also underperform, I've seen a lot of people blame the economy and say no one is going to the theaters. On the surface, it's an easy response, and I know it's very easy to say because it makes sense on the surface, but looking at data, it's not true, and people should stop using it as a reason for why films they want to succeed aren't doing well. And rather than just look at this year's data, let's look at the last time people worldwide said the economy was awful pre-pandemic, which was 2008. 2008 was when we had the Wall Street crash, and for many countries, including the USA, it would take several years to fully recover, and there are still many people who have never recovered. This is also after the writer's strike, which affected many films in production, causing delays and shooting with incomplete scripts. So that's all correct. Despite the huge economic recession, the yearly domestic box office in 2008 was only down 0.3%. That same year, The Dark Knight was released, which was Warner Brothers' biggest film ever at that point. It had, at that time, the fourth film to ever make $1 billion. Remember, this was a global recession, and it still made $1 billion. That's right. The next year in 2009, which again was when the economy was still terrible, not only was box office up 10% from 2008, we had 7 films make over $700 million, blah, 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 blah. And then Avatar, and that also applies to this year. Yes, Supergirl bombed, and Master of the Universe flopped, and Mando didn't do as well as Disney wanted, but those aren't the only releases this year. To me, it only makes sense to blame the economy if every big release did badly, but that's not the case at all. And that's where he makes his mistake. So he says Project Hail Mary, Super Mario Galaxy, Michael, The Devil Wears Prada 2, Toy Story 5, Top Story, Obsession, and Backrooms have all been big hits. By Monday, we'll have 3 films hit $1 billion with Galaxy, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I just want to add, I know a common way people like to diminish the success of the last 2 films is to say they're successful for their budget. So their success, it's not to diminish it when somebody points that out. And maybe some people use that as a way to diminish, but the fact is, when a horror movie is made for, like, horror movies historically are able to make a shitload of money. I mean, that's why you have franchises like Paranormal Activity, which is just a terrible franchise. Shitty, stupid movies. But because they're made so cheaply and they manage to get, hooked into the culture enough, they, and Saw's another one. Like, it's just, horror movies are cheap comparatively. And whenever they're able to make big bucks in the theater, that becomes a notable thing. It's not to diminish it. It's just context to understand why that movie is seen as so successful. So then he goes on to go, about inflation, and then Occam's razor as to why Supergirl and Master of the Universe Mando didn't do that well. Could it just be there was not hype or enthusiasm for a franchise that hasn't been popular for you? I mean, yes, that's true. Yes. It's all these are mutually exclusive. In fact, these are the two things working in tandem. The fact is that, and I responded. Somebody immediately said what I was going to say, which is, it's curious that you haven't mentioned streaming services at any point in your analysis here, because that's the major thing that's cemented cinema attendance from being a regular cultural activity to one that people do on special occasions, if at all. 100%. And so I said, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clearly a confluence of factors, unless one is starting from a conclusion, that is. The economy is a broad way of saying it, but the fact is that people generally have less disposable income, while everything, especially cinema tickets, have become absurdly priced. Taking a family to see a movie is going to cost at least $80 if you want to get some drinks, but it can be closer to $150, as I spent last summer taking my family to go see Superman. Got everyone a drink, popcorn, snack, food, whatever. And I think I spent close to $150. And I think we took a Lyft, which is probably partially why, but I mean, gas, if you want to include gas or whatever it is, like it all matters. And it's not just the economy sucks, therefore movies don't do well. It's that when you have streaming, let me finish reading my thing. So the result of the factors is this: people become more judicious of what they will spend their money on. With a literal war economy in the negative sense, wrecking oil prices, most responsible people will choose to wait the 3 to 4 weeks, in some cases sooner, to watch the thing in the comfort of their home where you can pause it, make food, have some drinks or smokes or whatever, all for like $30, and you can own the movie. Asterisk, considering the fact that they're phasing out owning, digital media. You don't really own it, but you know what I'm saying. There's also the fact that people, and this is just where my opinion comes into it, I think that people have gotten IP fatigue. I feel like I have. As a lifelong Marvel and Star Wars fan, and still am, don't mistake me for some anti-woke chud, I'm still adjusting to the fact that my interest has wandered from all the hype that I used to have for the MCU and Star Wars toward unknown properties in movies that I don't know what to expect from. Let me know in chat, guys, if you have anything experience like that. Are you feeling yourself not as compelled to, follow the franchises that you previously identified strongly with? I still like those things. As I said here, I still will see every Marvel thing, and many of them I love, many of them I like. Some of them I don't like very much at all. But nonetheless, I still am interested in them. It's just that when it comes to the things I get excited about, I guess I want more surprise. I want more, I like to see a movie that I don't really know what to expect from it. And, those are kind of few and far between sometimes, but like, the ones that pop out in mind as being like amazing examples of this are like District 9, which came out in 2009. That was a movie that I had interest in seeing because I knew that Peter Jackson produced it. I knew that it was science fiction. I had no idea what it was going to really be about, and I had no idea what to expect. And I left that theater like one of the coolest fucking experiences of seeing a movie that I've ever had, because I didn't know what to expect. And that's the shit that I kind of love, that in a different way, but about as much as seeing a really satisfying Avengers movie or whatever, So, and then there's the marketing of films that is also an issue, because nobody watches the same bunch of content like when cable or even early social media would put the same ads in front of us all. Now we're all in algorithm silos with hyper-specific keywords used to connect our eyeballs with specific ads. And yet we as a society have yet to fully internalize this fact, so we still assume we're all seeing the same shit. Hope you guys, do consider that and factor that into things, because I think it seems like a lot of people don't. They don't factor in the fact that we aren't having a shared experience to any degree that we used to, really. Even if me and you watching right now, like some of the same stuff, the specific hyper specificity of keywords and algorithms and shit in social media, depending on which platform you use, depending on what your keyword, cluster is or whatnot, we might be seeing very different ads, but that makes it very difficult for, them to put a movie ad right in front of the person that's most likely to see it. So it's a tricky one. So it's all these things I think that have to do with it. I don't think that I think it's kind of silly to just say you can't say it's the economy. Well, you can. You shouldn't stop there. If you want to understand it, there's plenty of layers to the issue. I think that if we are able to recover from everything going on right now, if we are able to get the country going back in a good direction at some point in the future, you will see attendance go back up a bit. I doubt it's ever going to go back up to where, like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like, I just feel like movie theaters are going to kind of become a bit like, vinyl shops in a way. Like it's people who really, really appreciate movies, like the cinema experience. we'll still go see things in the cinema. And then occasionally, you know, something will come out that families want to see together and it gets people excited. Yeah. Oh, and then I said, so the reasons that you see the films we've been seeing do so well, many of which are horror, is because people want an experience that feels worth the cost and time and leaving the house. So like horror films, they get people excited in new ways. They surprise people. They get people, you know, it has a good horror film has like a visceral effect. And you know, you know, if it freaks you out or is kind of creepy or weird or just fun or whatever, people talk about that shit. And then that becomes marketing in and of itself. When people start talking about the, you know, Backrooms or Obsession, or, you know, that's the marketing right there. I didn't know about any of those movies until suddenly everybody's talking about them, right? I mean, I guess I knew vaguely about them, but like, and to prove my point here, I want to take you to a little website you might have heard of called Rotten Tomatoes. Because I happened to go to Rotten Tomatoes the other day, and it was stunning, the experience I had. And I want to see if any of you have a similar one here. So, why did I go to Rotten Tomatoes? Oh, I went to go see what, if there were any the Odyssey reviews that had come out so far, is what I was looking at. And that's when I realized, although I had heard at one point that there was another Evil Dead in the works, I had no idea that it was out now. Okay. And yet it is. It's out now. There it is. I did not know that. I knew about Moana being out. I did not know there was a new Minions movie out now. I had seen something. What's crazy is I knew about this Young Washington movie because it's Angel Studios slop. And I think Dead Domain had covered it or something. And I saw their thumbnail or whatever for it. So because of my political content, I saw this existing. Otherwise, I wouldn't give a shit about that. See, I knew that there was a Jackass movie coming out. I kind of want to see it. I liked all those to some degree or another. I knew about Disclosure Day, obviously. I didn't know that Death of Robin Hood had come out. That was one that I was, kind of interested in seeing. Doesn't seem like it's so, enjoyed. Toy Story 5 I knew had come out, but let's see. What is this? Leviticus. What is that? I mean, it's not, I don't love that word. It's got some bad connotations in my mind, but, and then you get to these other ones that have been out for long enough to, for me to be aware that they were out, for sure. But it's kind of crazy to think that I did not realize that an Evil Dead movie was out because I hadn't been following it. I just was like, whoa, I'll see that when it comes out because I'll see, basically until they start making shitty ones. And this one maybe isn't as good as the last one, but so it was just kind of crazy. Does anybody else have that experience where like I used to always know what movies were coming out? I used to know all the time, every month, every week. I'd be like, oh, I know what movie's coming out this week. I'm gonna go see that. I'm not gonna go see that, kind of thing. And now it's just not something that is on my radar for the most part. I may be aware movies coming out, but unless I really want to see it, I don't see some ad about it or whatever. Then you get movies like Supergirl, obviously, that stuff like that, Moana, that will blast the fucking algorithm, just fire hose effect with advertisements and stuff like that. It's where you can't avoid it. But yeah. But then I started looking at some of these movies I hadn't heard of, like The Invite. Look at the ratings on this thing, man. 96% fucking critic score, 90% audience score. It is apparently a movie directed by Olivia Wilde, and she also stars in it. It's got Seth Rogen, Edward Norton. Edward Norton's one of my favorite actors. And then Olivia Wilde and Penelope Cruz. And it's just got glowing reviews. Like everybody loves this movie. And it's apparently kind of crass, but also really heartfelt and like deals with some, real stuff with relationships and marriage and friendships and all that. And that sounds like, honestly, something that me and Jen, my partner, would. There's not a lot of movies that we both see the same value in. Like she will watch stuff that I like. I admittedly don't always watch as much stuff with her so that she would want me to. But yeah, she's always down to watch my stuff generally, because she likes it. But this is the kind of thing where I think we both would really like it, and so yeah, that's kind of cool. And that's what I'm saying. You look at J. Kong, yeah, this is what this is, man. I mean, I assume it's a mid-budget. I don't imagine that it's, $200 million or whatever. But, Olivia Wilde as a director is getting praised, as well as her acting performance in this. And then there's another one that I saw that maybe isn't as good, but was still kind of interesting in the premise. Called I forget the character's name, but it's something, and it's basically a sort of retelling of Wizard of Oz, but not. So it's a God damn it, something and the Celebrity Sex Pass. So it's about a woman who's going to get married to a guy, and you know how most couples will have a celebrity sex pass, like the thing where you agree with your partner, like, if I ever get to meet this celebrity, then you can have sex with them. But you kind of agree to each one of you has that, right? Has that person. It's a silly thing that I think a lot of people do. I don't know if it's something people take very seriously. I don't even know who I would choose, honestly, but so the plot is that this woman's getting married, and her husband or fiance meets his celebrity sex pass and has sex with her. And so then she feels all fucked up about it. And so she goes to see a psychic, and the psychic says, well, you got to, go do yours, find yours and do them. So, and apparently hers is John Hamm. So the film centers around a character who represents Dorothy to an extent, and several other characters that represent the Tin Man, the Lion, Scarecrow. And they go to Hollywood, which is like Oz, and they're looking for John Hamm, which is, I guess, the wizard, so that she can bang John Hamm, like Dorothy wanted to bang the wizard, right? Yeah, and it seems like that might be fun. Maybe not, might be stupid, but it's the kind of movie that I'd be interested in giving a shot. Yeah, and it's just, there's so many different things. So many different things. Do you see a lot of celebrities where you go? Do you do a lot of ATMs with them around there? What do you do? I'm sorry to call you out for your ATM spot. Oh, you know what's the most interesting thing about that movie I was just describing to me? The part where I was like, okay, that's kind of weird in a cool way. John Slattery, I think his name is, the guy, older Tony Stark in the MCU, right? The guy from Mad Men. He is in it. He plays one of the characters that goes with her, but he plays himself. He's just playing himself, which is a weird choice, and I kind of want to know more about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's such a good actor. He can probably do anything. So the fact that he's in this, I don't know, lends it some credibility. And playing himself, that's a unique choice. Fuck yeah, they are. Yeah. Speaking of celebrities, who I'd like to give an ATM.
Unwavering confidence, the hubris, the delusion that Kenny Powers has with what Trump possesses.
I don't think I'm asking people to like these people. I don't think that's the goal. I think the goal is more like, you're probably more like this person than what you'd want to admit. The only thing I can equate it to is weirdly when we worked on Halloween. You're like, well, Michael Myers, I grew up in being terrified of him.
Yeah.
And now, since he's been around so long, people wear shirts with his face on it. And then you start realizing that they cheer when he kills people. It's what they're showing up for. They want to see all the ways in which he's going to murder someone. And I feel like with Kenny, it was a very similar trajectory where you see what a dick he is. And then weirdly, that's his equivalent of being a slasher. And then you're showing up to see him be a dick to people. And show me an unforgettable way in which you're going to be an ass to someone.
So that's why Donald Trump won in 2024.
Maybe people would just want some more. They're cheering for Michael Myers.
I love Danny McBride, man. I love Eastbound and Down was a fantastic show. Not for everyone, but it was very much, at the time that it came out, I was absolutely floored by how obscene and honestly sometimes like kind of offensive to me, but like I was still just stuck with it because I recognized that I was being a little oversensitive sometimes, and that I'd like to challenge those things when possible. It's that kind of show, and Danny McBride is fucking phenomenal in it. Basically all the Jody Hill shows and whatnot, most recently being the Righteous Gemstones is fucking excellent show. If you haven't seen that, check it out. What else we got here? Oh yeah. So going back to the old socialism conversation, I wanted to look around and kind of find what people are saying outside of our, general agreeance bubble, right? So I found a couple of different conversations that were had by people that I don't believe are generally socialists or even progressive in that way.
Thoughts on the elections in New York and the rise of democratic socialism, and how potent a force do you think this is? On the one hand, you see these results.
I don't know who either one of these guys are.
Some of them are jarring. In one case, a House incumbent kicked out of office. I think he got 1/3 of the primary vote. On the other hand, Neil, these are primaries with notoriously low turnout. So making this a direct mirror of American politics, I'm not sure about. But you look at what Mamdani is doing in New York, Neil. Do you see this having national legs? And is this a way for Democrats to get 270 electoral votes?
Well, I think it's worth just to throw out a counterfactual, imagining where we would be if Mr. Mamdani had been born not in Kampala, Uganda, but in let's say Queens. I mean, if he'd been born in the United States, can you imagine what would be the conversation on the American left right now? Because clearly he has got significant charisma. He is an effective political organizer. He has coattails, as we've just seen. So it's just as well that he can't run for president, because there is a big part of the Democratic Party that wants to rerun the Bernie Sanders insurgency with a far more electable figurehead than Bernie ever was. We must remember that Bernie Sanders was a real contender for the nomination. It took a lot to stop him. I think there's an assumption, and I've often made it myself, that if the Republican Party has a relatively right-of-center incumbent in the White House, then the right move of the Democrats is to tack to the center and find the next Bill Clinton. I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think that's the response. I think the response of the Democratic Party to the Trump ascendancy is, let's go further out on our side of the political spectrum. And the trouble is they just don't have a native-born Mamdani to play that part. Not yet, but you can sense that the hunt is on.
That's interesting. Here's this.
Results in Colorado. That was a positive from the week.
I think it was great. Just great.
Malat Quiros is the one. Let's be clear.
She's one of the winners in Colorado. She is 29 years old. She beat a incumbent Democrat who has been there for 30 years.
Yeah,
So,
to get.
Yeah. So she, and she's going to be a member of Congress because it's a very blue district.
Right.
It's the same pattern in New York City in terms of the people Mamdani endorsed. And you see the same pattern scattered around the country. They are inspiring. They're not taking special interest money. They're not taking PAC money. They're inspiring.
They're not taking shit.
They're not taking shit. And they're inspiring legions of young people to go door to door for them to get out the vote. Instead of big money, it's big excitement. Now, the average voter is excited about these individuals. They are young. They're vital. They're committed to doing stuff that matters.
They're authentic.
They're absolutely authentic.
Right.
They care about the country. I don't want to take away from the Democratic Socialists of America, but this is not a movement about democratic socialism.
Right.
This is a movement about young people who are coming up, who are the essence of America, and they are the opposite, Heather, of the kind of white male Christian nationalism that Trump and many Republicans represent right now.
And they are saying what they believe in terms of Gaza. They are saying what they believe in terms of affordability. I do think a lot of these people are talking about corruption too.
Yes, of course they are. They're talking about, they're saying to the average working American, you have got a bad deal.
I kind of agree with that in the sense that, like, it's tempting, you know, as someone who is perfectly okay with the notion of socialism or a more socialist democracy under capitalism. I mean, I think, honestly, I was thinking about it last night. I think that we're not getting rid of capitalism anytime soon. Anybody that thinks that we are, I don't know, you know, just stop thinking that. But I think it is feasible and what we should be aiming for to basically reframe the understanding of capitalism, you know, and basically get rid of, you know, unrestrained capitalism and say that, okay, if we're going to have capitalism, then there needs to be a counterbalance to it within that. And that's, you know, what essentially we're seeing happen. That's what Mamdani's doing. That's what these other candidates are clamoring. It's what everybody's clamoring for is, I think nobody, sure, there's a lot of people that would love if capitalism just, you know, went away. That's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen all at once. So the best thing that we can hope for is to say that we just have we have a more humane, humanist response to capitalism. And because we've seen what happens whenever that doesn't exist, whenever in every way profit is prioritized over people. And now we need to basically get people to think about people and profit, I suppose, you know, and that profit should not be attained at any cost, despite the harms, despite all exploitation and stuff like that. It's capitalism. There's going to be exploitation. People are going to be, you know, working too much. People are going to, you know, but like maybe we could at least work 32 hours a week instead of 40. Maybe we could, you know, get healthcare, you know, things like that to basically to mitigate a lot of the harms that come directly from capitalist, you know, greed and unrestrained corporatist greed. Right. What is my opinion on Venture Brothers? I love Venture Brothers. I really do. It's one of the most rewatchable shows that I can think of. I fucking love it. I've probably seen it all the way through. I've definitely seen the first few seasons several times. Like several 8 or 9 times or something like that. And then as the seasons go on, as it got more recent, I've seen those a couple of times now. I don't think I ever finished watching the movie that came out a while back, a couple of years ago. I think I fell asleep and then just never finished it because I'm kind of stupid like that. But here's this. Wizards with guns.
Right, I hope everybody's comfortable. We're in for a long surgery. I already took my watch off, so that's good. I hope you pooped before the surgery. I know I did. Speaking of, I do need to wash my hands. So I'll just go over here and grab my very sharp tools. I need to be careful.
Is he moving weird? Does he always do that?
I don't know. I've never seen him before.
What?
I think we should just probably start the surgery. But first, of course, I'll fuel up with a light snack. Yum, 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 yum. Always good to have food in the surgery room.
Wait, is there something in your hat?
Just my big brain for surgery.
Oh my God, is that a rat? Is that a rat in your hat?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Just gonna go get your x-rays or some shit.
Holy shit. That is a rat. He's doing a ratatouille. He's doing a ratatouille.
What's that?
Like the movie.
Now I'm washing my hands.
I've only seen Cars.
That's the only Pixar movie you've seen?
It's the only movie I've seen.
What? It's actually safer to watch it in a mop.
You haven't seen, like, Forrest Gump?
Which car is he? Is that...
Ow!
Is he the green one?
Okay. Looks like we're taking another x-ray, I guess. Oops. Looks like I got it backwards, so I just should probably spin it around. Turn it. Ow, my hand is stuck.
Okay, I think we should cancel. I'm canceling.
Probably for the best. I hurt myself really bad.
And I'd like a new surgeon and a new whatever the hell you are.
Oh, I'm your anesthesiologist.
Oh, fuck! Unfortunately, we can't reschedule as I've already prepped the drugs.
Too late to back out! Let me just grab one of both my syringes. And if you'll hold still, we'll find the vein in no time.
No!
Thank you, doctor. Can I have a Band-Aid?
Oh, there it is. Ooh, that's deep. Went all the way through the cheese in my pocket.
Oh, shit. Cheese?
Yeah? Why?
Oh, no! Oh, wait!
Okay. Let's begin.
Wizards with guns, folks. So Charlie Kirk's alleged killer's trial is underway, or preliminary hearings, I guess. I don't know. I think they're probably going to convict the kid, most likely. You know, it's gonna probably happen. Looking for something kind of to watch. Like I said, not very prepared today. We got 12 people watching. I appreciate all of you who are watching. I promise I am finding something that I hope is worth the time. Let's try this. Oh yeah, wow. This seems pretty fucked up. I haven't watched it all the way yet, but yeah.
From a Kentucky church that happened about, I guess it was like, I don't know, a week or two ago. The video is on Reddit. The pastor, Dwayne Walker, said, I guess put a Facebook clip out to talk about this. This is at a Bible school, like a vacation Bible school.
Nice.
So when kids on vacation, you know, you need to put your kids into school, and there's a vacation Bible school.
So fun for the family, fun for the kids.
Like camp, kind of? Like Bible camp?
It's like a Bible camp type of thing, yeah. I think that's Chewbacca.
What was it? What was that? Was that a little play? Like a little?
Yes, that was a play. He said the viral video showed an event that was nothing more than a small part of our vacation Bible school. The church has had similar rituals for the past 30 years.
Oh, that explains it.
We have characters every year that represent good and right and God, and we have characters that represent evil and wrong, and that which should be avoided. And he said the skit was an attempt to make church fun.
Yeah.
You may think we went over the top, Walker added. You may think it was a little bit extreme. And maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But don't you believe that the devil is really using extreme measures with this generation?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, the clip you saw was simply killing the devil. So I don't understand why we're pro-devil over here when we're just showing.
Well, why didn't they have him in like a red suit with the horns and stuff? It was just looked like a Antifa member.
Exactly.
Don't you get it?
That's why you got to have soldiers are able to come in and kill the devil, not like just normal people. You need to have soldiers come in.
And using the gun, not like the Bible and like the cross or whatever.
This is
the station in Catholic. That was thank you for jogging my memory. In the Catholic Church, we do the Stations of the Cross, and you'd show the the torture and crucifixion of Jesus. And it would be like a play. This
How many
is a little
times
bit
did
like
you
that.
see that? What was
Mel
it?
Gibson movie?
Yes, exactly.
Here we go. I did see it once, and once is enough.
Yeah, that was it.
It's pretty good.
Did you show your kids that?
No, no.
No, you didn't sit down. You didn't let your kids watch
no,
that.
they're not.
You know,
quite.
he's filming the sequel right now.
Yeah, the
Is he?
Resurrection.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he probably finished it by now.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Wait, so who was those people supposed to be that were shot down with those guns?
Devil?
The devil?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other was God's camo patrol.
Are the archangels, are those good? Are archangels
were
good?
they
Or are
the
they
archangels?
bad?
They're the best. They're top angels.
Are they?
At the top of the arc.
I think it's a good time for us to cop to the fact we may have missed some of the subtext here because of our lack of our religious training.
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing it for 30
Sweet
whole years.
Uzis, though.
But
They
God
need the kids to know that the devil can look like anybody. That's why
Right.
he's on a red suit.
Specifically an
But
Antifa
what's
member.
unclear to me is why the good guys have to have like camouflage gear. Why they have to be soldiers?
Can we
they're
just watch,
surrounded
can we
by
just put
evil.
it back on? I was so out of, I had no clue what I was about to be
the
watching.
pastor-
Well, I saw this clip about a week ago, I think it was, and I thought, like, this is some weird AI thing. It cannot be real.
Just they storm in. Was the guy already dead? Like what?
Well, maybe the pastor will explain here.
I've been thinking about this all day.
Sicko.
Look at the kid.
Oh my
There's a
God.
kid making like guns.
Traumatized.
Like pointing his fingers at people like it's a gun now.
What's after 4?
Oh, so there's some education.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yo,
Jesus.
just when you lulled them into a false sense of security, bang, bang.
They're just teaching the kids how to say instinctively, Jesus.
Yeah, right. So is that grooming, or is it just if you see Janet Jackson's nipple on television?
That's right. Yeah, that's
Or
Next
go to
movie,
a-
he's wearing a
That's
cowboy
training.
hat.
Or a trans person reads somebody a book or something.
very healthy for the kids.
That's
Very.
wild.
Somebody's asking, what are the kids chanting? They're saying, shoot them up and put them down, or what?
Blow them up. Take them out, blow them up.
Yeah.
Take them out, blow them up.
I think that's Genesis 3:14.
Oh, yes.
And the
Ryan
kid,
is our Bible expert here.
the guy they're shooting is the devil. Is that confirmed or?
That's what he represents.
Okay, represents.
Yeah.
He's just an immigrant.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I like how they're glorifying the gun use and it looking like an Antifa guy, and also multiple people shooting somebody who doesn't have a weapon on them all at the same time, right?
It is amazing that you would think the devil was a lot tougher than that.
Totally.
A couple of guys with a couple of guns.
Why
takes
is it
out
a
the
devil strap?
Could have defeated him a millennium ago.
One would have thought.
It's not even a good story. You got to go down with the fight a little bit.
The Cowboys had guns.
Totally.
I mean, history
Even Hulk
would have
Hogan got beat up a little bit in a match.
Right.
You know?
History would have been so much better if Jesus had an AR-15.
Oh, you know.
He did.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Okay. Well, Man, I'm only making an hour and 15 minutes. I'm already burning out on what to do here. I guess I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. Well, I'm seeing stuff about reports of Avengers Doomsday being in trouble. I keep seeing it. So, oh, here's something. Check this out, maybe.
There was a time when anti-woke meant something. It meant a guy was willing to have Netflix employees walk out over his special. Now it mostly means he has a Patreon. This is a video about a brand, not a person. About what happens when I say what nobody else has the guts to say, turns into a content calendar. And about the fact that lately, the loudest people calling that out aren't outside this world at all. They're other comedians. Quick orientation, because this ecosystem doesn't have a name tag. Call it the Rogan Sphere, a cluster of long-form podcasts and comedy clubs that grew up in and around Joe Rogan's orbit, Austin-based, UFC adjacent, built on 3-hour conversations that treat no filter as the whole product. Guests cross-pollinate, comics headline each other's clubs. The house style leans hard on cancel culture grievance.
How do you feel about that? Like the whole cancel culture?
Well, what it is it's a culture of people being able to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when people can express themselves, they can change the way other people feel about things. They can get people upset at things. You can say things that you've never been able to say before. You like so many people have the ability to express themselves now. So it's like you can get someone fired. Like if you decide that you're going to pile onto someone because you don't like what they said or what they did.
Jokes about the mob.
You know, they figured it out like the mob figured out the lottery. You know, Whitey Bulger won the lottery twice.
Did he really?
Yeah. You know how bold you have to be a gangster in South Boston and not just win the lottery once, but win the lottery twice. Like, see if you can find that.
How do you rig the numbers that big? That's crazy.
Get away with it. You can kind of get away with stuff before the internet. Before the internet, you could get away with things like that, where you could kind of rig the lottery a couple of times, and everybody's like, "Whitey won again? What the?"
And a recurring pitch that everyone involved is a brave outsider, even while selling out arenas and signing 9-figure platform deals.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify. I signed a multi-year licensing agreement with Spotify that will start on September 1st.
And to be fair to the thing before we take it apart, it worked for a while, for real reasons. It gave a generation of comics a clear identity in a crowded market, a lane, a fan base, a reason to check this podcast instead of the other 40. It gave audiences a way to feel like listening to a podcast for 3 hours was a small act of rebellion, instead of just a long drive home. And it landed because it wasn't purely invented. There were genuine examples of institutions overcorrecting, genuine pile-ons, genuine jokes that got treated like felonies. The bit had a real nerve to touch. For a stretch there, this was actually the fresh lane in comedy. While one part of the industry was having very public, very necessary reckonings about who got stage time and who didn't, another part of the industry noticed there was an audience that felt like nobody was talking to them anymore, and built a whole ecosystem to fill that gap. Say what you want about the material. The business instinct was sound. People who study this stuff for a living have pointed out that the whole uncancelable posture only works as a badge of honor if the danger feels real. For a few years, enough people believed it was. The problem is what happens to any nerve you touch 3,000 times. It goes numb. Somewhere in the last few years, anti-woke stopped being a reaction and became a release schedule. The same targets, the same you can't say anything anymore, cold open, the same faux danger where nobody involved is actually risking a single dollar. It stopped sounding like rebellion and started sounding like a product line. And the people noticing that shift first weren't critics from outside comedy. They were the comedians standing right next to it. Tim Heidecker has been mocking the Rogan-adjacent scene for years.
Sometimes do drop into the Joe Rogan show just to, like, if it comes up in my YouTube.
The pounding.
And I was like, oh, see what him and Bob Saget are talking about just for fun. For fun or whatever, just to be like, I always think like, maybe it's a good show, maybe I'll watch it.
I miss you.
And it's so bad. It's such a show.
I'm a bona fide moron.
They sit across from each other and like they talk about they don't know anything about. I mean, it's kind of like me, I guess, but
Vic Berger makes a bunch of very funny
they have the most sort of
internet videos.
Shallowest perspective on everything that's coming out. And
he built a parody of the format back in 2021.
Oh, where do we go? Where do we go? And I mean, I have a platform, and you guys are more than welcome to say whatever the you want to say on here. I might agree with you, I might not, but where are you going to go if you're silenced everywhere else? I can't have you guys on 24/7.
Yeah. And when he talked about it with Mark Maron on WTF, his framing wasn't political, it was professional. He described the whole vibe as comics going in circles, doing the tone of the college rec center at 3 a.m, with an audience getting validated by this cretinous backwards thinking. A Vancouver sketch duo called the Bachelors of Music found a whole audience just narrating anti-woke bits back at people in a deadpan expert explains format. And the joke works precisely because the material is so formulaic, it explains itself.
When Bruce Jenner had an 8-hour operation and he woke up Caitlyn Jenner, and then a minute later he won Woman of the Year. And that...
Here we go. Okay, good. Finally, someone's talking about Caitlyn Jenner. Thank you, Brian. Oh, this is going to be so good.
When Kumail Nanjiani sat down with Heidecker, he made the same point from the inside. Comedy used to reward saying something nobody else was saying. Now, he noted, half the circuit is saying the exact same thing. When comedians start describing other comedians' dangerous material as predictable, it's a review rather than a political statement.
When I started doing comedy, the whole thing was in Chicago doing open mics. It was like, I have to talk about stuff that nobody else is talking about. Oh, this guy's a bit about this. All you had to do was be unique and original.
Yeah.
And now, so many guys are talking about the exact same thing. Cancel culture, anti-trans stuff, whatever the it is. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird to go up after someone who did a bit about how interracial dating is wrong and did pretty well with the crowd. Right. And then I have to go up and be like, so I found that aspect of it was tough for me. I find now, at least when I go out, so when I was preparing material, I did go to those clubs a lot because I was like, I want this to play everywhere. Yeah. But people tell me that alt scene of like weird little shows all over is not as like big as it used to be.
You got to be a clown now.
Yes.
You got to be doing clowning.
Yeah. Clowning's big.
Next, the guy saying it stopped being a stance and became a sales pipeline. This is where the brand language gets literal. Tiers, drops, merch, live tours, timed to whatever the outrage cycle happens to be that month. Academics who study the format have actually put a name to it. Some call Rogan's core persona the uncancelable skeptic, a branding position that only works if cancellation stays a live threat, which means the threat has to keep getting invoked on schedule, whether or not anything's actually happening.
The thing that really bugs me about a lot of the comedians is they use two things simultaneously. We're like street level philosophers, and it's just a joke. And depending on what the attack is, that's the defense.
Like, bona fide
but
moron.
also, you're just
what is trending?
What we do is important, and we're speaking truth to power. Both those things can't exist at the same time. I think the new thing that is, to me, death of comedy more than anything else
is my show here.
Is this show more than anything else.
That's not a conspiracy. That's just what a recurring bit needs to survive. At some point, I Speak My Mind became a subscription tier with a logo. Then there's the critique aimed at who the jokes are actually about. This one's gotten loud enough that it started happening between friends, on camera, Comedian Stavros Halkias, mid-podcast, told a guest flatly to knock it off when she wouldn't stop steering the conversation toward the same handful of groups. He joked she'd caught a full case of what he called Austin brain and accused her, only half kidding, of rehearsing material for a Rogan booking.
That's where I land. You have gotten like Austin trans brain. Like you know what I mean? Like it really is at the top of your head.
No, because
You immediately brought it up as soon as the podcast started.
No, because this just happened where my friend said that her guy
right.
And I'm really
woman.
interested in it because sometimes I get like I'm jealous of like Robbie Hoffman for just cutting her off and still
Right.
being a woman. That's like the coolest thing.
Right, it
I want to
is.
do that so bad.
What's
I'm
stopping you?
Because I need them for capital. I strap them down as much as I can. Because I still
Interesting.
date men.
Around the same time, Bobby Lee, who is not exactly an outsider to this scene, told his own podcast audience he wasn't with what some of his peers were doing in Austin anymore, saying it plainly. It's becoming hacky to him that the shock value has to come from the same handful of slurs every time.
I'm not with that. What you guys are doing in Austin.
What do you mean?
Well, let's be real. I don't like some of the words you guys use freely.
Like what?
It's like edgelord. It's like
not all of it.
I know, but
there is
it's becoming
certainly-
so hacky to me that people, you
100%.
guys use these words just for the shock factor. It's like
100%.
I'm not into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the R word sometimes in a joke, maybe, right?
When the guys inside the green room start saying that edgy material only ever points down, that's the brand's own supply chain admitting something about itself. And then the contradiction that's hardest to argue around. Guys who built an entire identity on being banned, censored, and uncancelable, who then, this past fall, lined up to accept enormous paychecks from an actual government that requires performers to sign away what they're allowed to joke about. When dozens of comics took invitations to a Saudi-funded festival with contracts explicitly barring jokes about the government, the religion, or the royal family, the backlash came fastest from other comedians. David Cross published an open letter telling the attendees bluntly that they don't get to complain about cancel culture ever again. Mark Maron, who has been tracking this scene from the outside longer than most, put the deeper contradiction plainly on his podcast. You guys started this anti-woke and everybody was upset about pronouns. But now they have policy built around this, and there are real-world consequences for everybody.
Well, at this point, it's lazy and sloppy and hackneyed. You know, to be in a f***ing club where, you know, I'm walking down the hall at the comedy club, at the comedy store, and, you know, in one room, someone's doing their bit about trans people, and then I get down the hall and there's someone on stage going, well, I guess I got to do my bit about trans people. Like, no, you don't. You don't. It's hack now. I mean, you know, you guys got the freedom you wanted. You can now say whatever you want. They're defeated. Their rights have been denied. The policies that you guys encouraged with your stupid material are now policy. And now, like, you know, half the people under the umbrella of anti-woke, we've lost a tremendous amount of democratic leaning ideas and movements. So whether they knew it or not, that's what they were spearheading. So now it's reality, and you want to still keep kicking them?
Not the language of a fringe critic.
Damn.
The language of someone who watched a comedy bit become a legislative agenda. Now, Rogan himself, carefully. He's not the mastermind of a plot here, and treating him like one gives the brand more credit than it deserves. He's closer to the sun in this solar system, the gravity everyone else orbits, the booking that legitimizes a career, the show that made 3 hours, no notes, a viable format in the first place. People do talk about a Rogan sphere cult. You'll see the phrase in quotes on plenty of thumbnails, including from creators who've built entire channels tracking this ecosystem's implosion. It's a punchy way to describe something that's really more mundane, a brand story a lot of people bought into at the same time for understandable reasons. Less a cult, more a really successful content vertical that convinced its customers they were rebels. There's also a whole cottage industry now that exists purely to document this brand's contradictions. Channels built entirely around chronicling what one longtime comedy journalist calls a scene that used to be a scandal and is now just Tuesday. Whether or not you buy every argument those channels make, their existence alone tells you something. There's now more content criticizing the anti-woke content ecosystem than there was skepticism of it 5 years ago. That's not what a healthy, dangerous, forbidden brand looks like. That's what a brand looks like after the joke's gotten old enough that mocking it has become its own genre, which brings us to the actual collapse. And it is the myth collapsing, not any one person's career. Audiences are noticing the repetition. Comedians inside the scene are calling out the punching down pattern to each other's faces, not just in interviews. The central promise that this is dangerous, forbidden, the last honest room left in comedy, keeps running into the fact that nobody in that room is actually risking anything anymore. Nobody's getting canceled for these bits. They're getting renewed, syndicated, and offered 8-figure exclusivity deals.
Yep.
The tension that made anti-woke feel electric in the first place was real once. What's left now is mostly the marketing department, still running the old ad copy after the product stopped being new. None of this means anti-woke disappears as a genre, or that anyone involved is finished. Careers in this world are, if anything, more durable than most. What's ending is the myth that it's still risky, that buying a ticket or hitting subscribe is some kind of rebellion. The audience got smarter than the pitch. The comics next door got bored of the bit before the fans did. And once the room you're performing in includes people who will tell you on mic that you're being hacky, the uncancelable outsider routine stops being dangerous and starts being administrative. I Tell the Truth used to be enough of a pitch on its own. At some point, it needs a second act. A brand can survive being mocked. It's a lot harder to survive being correctly imitated. And right now, the imitators aren't rivals or outsiders. They're the guys who used to open for these shows, sitting across the green room, telling the room exactly what it sounds like from the outside. The bit isn't dead. It's just not dangerous anymore. And once an outsider brand stops being dangerous, all that's left to sell is the outfit. Let me know in the comments who you think is next to get called out by their own scene. Subscribe for more of these, and if this one hit, a like helps.
Wow. So that's a pretty excellent video, I think. I don't know about you guys watched it. I just let him cook because he's only got 2,000 something subscribers, man. He deserves more than that. His name is his channel is Cringe Compass. That was an excellent breakdown of everything. That was even somewhat, you know, kind of lightly critical of even the sub industry of the channels like you know, Podcast Cringe and Too Lazy to Try, and those guys that like had just kind of have made another little cottage industry out of covering the Rogan sphere. You know, which I hadn't seen anybody do yet. Not to say that they're anything as bad as the Rogan sphere. No, I don't think they're doing anything harmful really at all, for the most part. But like, it is notable that, you know, it's like kind of the same thing as us with Showcast and, you know, these group friends that I've got and stuff that have talked about chuds. It's like, well, we're talking about that we only have content to make about this because there are these guys doing this shitty thing, and there needs to be somebody calling out the shitty thing. But, you know, it'd also be nice to not have to call out the shitty thing. It'd be nice for the shitty thing not to exist. Anyway, I'm kind of tired. I need to get some lunch. I might stream again later tonight. I'm going to drop a Cringe Compass in the chat so you guys can subscribe to him over there. And then I'm going to, well, I'm going to play this one more time real quick. And on that note, I've got a lyric video for one of my songs that I've completed recently. It probably is. I mean, it might very well be, man. I don't know. It's from a sample. You know, I pay a subscription fee for a music service thing that I get samples from and stuff, and it was a cool sounding one, and I grabbed it because it's free. Well, not free. It's included in my. I get X amount of samples. I get so many tokens for samples every month that there's no way I could even feel like I could use them all. I've always got a backlog of fucking tokens. Anyways, here's this. This doesn't sound like DJ Premier. I don't think. I don't know what this sounds like. You guys can tell me. But check me out later. I'll probably be back on later tonight. Have a good day, and thank you.
Back in the day, I'd isolate, hide from the falling skies and wait, slip into an altered state. But I learned the hardest way that there's no escape, and I can't bring myself to turn away. What if the rebels and renegades never arrive? And what if the heroes we've waited for all this time take a dive? Oh, just a day ending in why? Just another doomsday gone by. How can I rest assured when the tension oceans rise? How can we come together when we're choosing different sides? How can we even begin to heal when the cynics are bleeding us dry? Divided we stand against the sinister design. What if the rebels and renegades never arrive? And what if the heroes we've waited for all this time take a dive? Oh, just a day ending in why? It's just another doomsday gone by. We're still alive. So urgent yet we sleep.
Let's shoot protesters in the leg. I want to invoke the Insurrection Act. Let's do that. Let's do another 7 wars. I love wars. Let's bomb more people. Let's steal all the oil and the gold from Venezuela. I love that. Let's carpet bomb a girls' school in Iran. Let's do 17 different massively corrupt schemes where I rob the American people. Let's do all that.